Man, the games that have already been released, and especially the ones still coming to PS5, are absolutely squeezing every last drop of power out of the console. And honestly, it feels like we're already witnessing the beginning of a new generation. The graphical level has reached a point that's borderline insane. Unreal lighting, microscopic detail, insane physics, living worlds that feel way too real to just be games. Today, I'm going to show you 15 games you need to play, or will need to play as soon as they launch. These are titles that are raising the visual standard of the industry to a level we've never seen before. High on Life 2. Man, I have to start with High on Life 2. If you thought the first one was just a quirky shooter with talking guns, you are not ready for the technical leap Squanch Games has taken in 2026. This game is essentially a playable Pixar movie, but on acid. Technically, what's squeezing the PS5 here is the global illumination and the shaders. Because the world is so colorful and alien, the way light bounces off organic, slimy, and metallic surfaces at the same time is a massive drain on the GPU, but man does it look crisp. The textures on the talking weapons, you can see every individual pore, every drop of drool, and the way their eyes reflect the environment in real time. It's borderline unsettling how real they look. But it's not just the visuals. They've pushed the DualSense haptics to a point where each gun feels physically different in your hand based on its mood or personality. It's a game that uses high-fidelity tech to sell a lowbrow comedy world, and the contrast is just mind-blowing. It's fluid, it's vibrant, and it proves that stylized graphics can be just as demanding and impressive as realism when you have this much detail on screen. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room, GTA 6. Bro, calling this a game feels like an insult to the engineering team at Rockstar. This is a generation-defining simulation. In 2026, we are seeing the PS5 literally sweating to keep up with the Rage Engine's new lighting system. The way the Florida sun, or Leonida sun, interacts with the atmosphere, creating that humid, hazy look, is something I've never seen before. But the real technical flex here, the density and the NPC logic. We're talking about thousands of individual AI entities on a beach, each with their own unique physics and reactions. If you drive a car into a crowd, the way the sand deforms and the way the cloth physics on the NPC's clothes react to the wind is just, it's insane, man. And let's not even get started on the water. The ocean physics in GTA 6 are a standalone masterpiece, the way waves break and the underwater caustic lighting works. It's the first time I've looked at a screen and genuinely couldn't tell if it was a video or a game. It is pushing the limits of the PS5 CPU like nothing else on the market, and it's worth every bit of the hype.
Trust me, this place is just the start for us.
Ring the bell! Shots, baby! Is that the thing from the rich?
Saros. Now, if you haven't heard of Saros, you need to wake up, because this is the sleeper hit that is redefining sci-fi realism. This game is built entirely on Unreal Engine 5.5, and it uses lumen and nanite to a degree that makes your eyes hurt from all the detail. What's pushing the PS5 here is the seamless planet-to-space traversal. There are no loading screens, none. You jump into your ship, blast through a volumetric atmosphere that is physically calculated, and enter a vacuum where the lighting completely shifts. The technical achievement of keeping that level of fidelity while moving at those speeds is a testament to the PS5's SSD speed. The surfaces of the planets look like high-resolution satellite photography, but then you land and you realize every rock is a 3D model with millions of polygons. It feels like another generation because of the tactile atmosphere, the way dust kicks up and lingers in the air, reacting to your thrusters. It's a quiet, beautiful, and technically demanding beast that shows us exactly what the future of space exploration games looks like. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls.
Listen, fighting games aren't supposed to look this good. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is a technical powerhouse that is using the PS5 to create the most insane particle chaos I've ever seen. While traditional fighters focus on static backgrounds, Fighting Souls has fully destructible, multi-layered arenas. If Iron Man blasts someone through a wall, the way the debris stays on the floor and interacts with the character's feet for the rest of the round is a massive physics feat. But the real star here is the character models. We're talking about movie-quality renders. You can see the micro scratches on Captain America's shield and the individual threads on Spider-Man's suit. The game utilizes a new subsurface scattering tech for the skin, making the characters look alive, not like plastic dolls. When the soul meters go off and the screen fills with neon energy and cosmic effects, the PS5 is doing some heavy lifting to keep that 60 FPS locked, and man, it's a spectacle. It's fast, it's flashy, and it's the first fighting game that truly feels like it was built for the hardware of tomorrow, not today.
Nioh 3. Team Ninja has always been known for tight combat, but with Nioh 3, they've pivoted into a technical powerhouse that feels like a massive leap for the PS5. The reason this game is screaming next gen is the fluidity of motion versus visual density. Usually, in a game this fast, you have to sacrifice detail for performance. But here, we're seeing 4K resolution at a blisteringly smooth frame rate with real-time physics on every piece of samurai armor. What's really squeezing the console is the new yokai realm effects. When the world shifts into the spirit plane, the entire environment deforms. Trees twist, shadows stretch, and the lighting becomes a spectral nightmare. This isn't just a filter, it's a total re-rendering of the scene's geometry on the fly. Technically, the way the blood splatters and interacts with the wet surfaces of ancient Japanese temples is a gore tech masterclass. The PS5's GPU is working overtime to calculate the particle effects of every elemental spell, making every boss fight a fireworks display of particles and light. It's a 10 out of 10 technical achievement that proves Team Ninja is no longer just playing in the action league, they are leading the visual league too. Marvel's Wolverine. We've been waiting for this one, and man, Marvel's Wolverine is the game that finally justifies the pro era of this generation. Insomniac is using their experience from Spider-Man 2, but turning the visceral dial to 11. The technical flex here is the deformable character damage and healing. We are talking about real-time anatomical damage. When Logan gets hit, you see the clothes tear, the skin rip, and then, this is the crazy part, you see the muscle tissue and bone knit back together in real time. The processing power required to calculate that level of organic growth and healing while maintaining a high-fidelity forest or barroom environment is staggering. Then there's the environment destruction. Wolverine doesn't just hit enemies, he destroys the room. Tables splinter into hundreds of physics-based pieces, walls get gouged by his claws, and the lighting reflects off those metallic blades with a path-traced precision that makes every frame look like a high-budget movie. It's a darker, grittier, and much more technically demanding beast that proves the PS5 still has hidden gears we haven't even seen yet. Control Resonant is back at it again, and Control Resonant is basically a technical horror story for any console that isn't a PS5. If the first game was a test for ray tracing, this sequel is a total simulation of light and matter. The game takes place in expanded awe zones, where the laws of physics are just gone. The technical highlight here is the object density. You can walk into a room and literally everything is a physics object. Thousands of papers, chairs, monitors, and floating debris all react to your telekinetic powers simultaneously. To handle this, the PS5 CPU is being pushed to its absolute limit.
The hiss resonance is now rendered with a new type of volumetric fog that actually casts shadows and distorts the light around it, creating a shimmer effect that feels like you're looking into another dimension. It's a game where you constantly stop and think, how is the console not melting? It's a cold, clinical, and terrifyingly beautiful example of what happens when you give a studio like Remedy the power to render their wildest, most abstract nightmares in full 4K.
Any updates for me?
Kind of. You'll know.
It's been years.
Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. Finally, Lara is back, and Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is the game that is finally delivering on the promise of true photorealism. This isn't just about high-resolution textures, it's about environmental interaction. Built on the latest iteration of Unreal Engine 5, the nanite geometry here is so dense that you can zoom in on a pebble or a leaf and it still looks like a 3D model with infinite detail. But the real PS5 killer here is the water and mud physics. As Lara explores the flooded ruins of Atlantis, the water isn't just a flat texture, it's a full fluid simulation. It ripples, it splashes, and it affects Lara's clothing weight and movement speed in a way that feels incredibly tactile. The lumen lighting in the underwater caves, where the only light source is Lara's torch reflecting off ancient gold and bioluminescent jellyfish, is easily the best lighting I've ever seen in an adventure game. It feels like a next-gen title because it abandons all the old tricks and just simulates the world. It's breathtaking, it's massive, and it's the most expensive-looking game on this list.
Crimson Desert. Bro, if you thought Black Desert was pretty, Crimson Desert is going to make your eyes melt. Releasing in March 2026, this game is the ultimate technical flex for Pearl Abyss's proprietary Black Space engine. What's pushing the PS5 to the edge here is the volumetric fluid fog. This isn't just a static mist, it's a full-on fluid simulation where the fog actually swirls and disperses realistically as your character or your horse passes through it. The world density is insane. We're talking about a medieval fantasy world where every single leaf and blade of grass is casting its own ray-traced shadow. Technically, the transition between massive, large-scale boss fights with mechanical dragons to small, intimate activities like cooking or fishing is completely seamless. And for those of you with a PS5 Pro, Pearl Abyss has already confirmed dedicated enhancements that use AI upscaling to keep that 4K 60 FPS target even when the screen is filled with elemental magic and crumbling castle walls. It's The Witcher, but with the visual dial turned up to 11.
Traces of the abyss you discover will open up
007 First Light. IO Interactive is finally stepping away from Hitman to give us the Bond origin story we've always dreamed of, and 007 First Light is a masterclass in environmental storytelling through tech. Using their Glacier engine, they've created a version of James Bond that feels tactile and grounded. The technical achievement here is the material fidelity. The way the silk on Bond's tuxedo reflects light differently than the cold steel of his Walther PPK or the chrome of an Aston Martin. The PS5's SSD is being pushed to its limit with location streaming. You can move from a high-speed vehicle chase directly into a stealthy infiltration of a Mediterranean villa with zero transition. But the real game changer is the haptic feedback. IO has tuned the DualSense so that you can actually feel the difference between a lock being picked and a silenced shot being fired. It's a cinematic, high-stakes experience that proves the spy genre is finally ready for the 4K era. Resident Evil Requiem, aka RE9, is not playing around with Capcom. This is the first Resident Evil built exclusively for the current generation, and it shows. The RE engine has been upgraded to support full path tracing on PS5 Pro, and even on the base PS5, the lighting is terrifyingly realistic. What's pushing the console here is the strand-based hair physics. Capcom moved away from old-school hair cards to individually rendered strands that react to the wind and the blood splatters in real time. The game lets you switch between first and third person, but the first-person mode is where the PS5 really flexes. The peripheral gore tech means you'll see sweat and blood actually run down Grace Ashcroft's face as you struggle to survive. With a 4K 60 FPS target and 3D audio that makes every creak in the Wrenwood Hotel sound like it's right behind you, this is the most immersive horror has ever been. It's cold, it's clinical, and it's a total technical nightmare in the best way possible.
What a sight to behold.
Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thieves is a lookin' tacky. If you thought the clouds in Ace Combat 7 were good, you aren't ready for Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thieves. Project Aces ditched third-party plugins to build their own in-house engine called Cloudily, and man, it's a monster. The PS5 is basically being used as a weather simulator here. We're talking about multi-layered volumetric skies, where each cloud layer has its own density, temperature, and lighting. Flying through a storm isn't just a visual effect anymore. The wind physics will actually buffet your plane, and the lightning will realistically illuminate the cockpit. But the real another generation moment, the sophisticated debris system. When you blow up an enemy Su-57, the wreckage doesn't just disappear, it breaks into hundreds of physics-based pieces that can actually damage other planes if they fly through the debris cloud. It's high-octane, it's visually overwhelming, and it's the most next-gen flight sim ever created for a console.
From now on, you'll be the greatest ace pilot this war will ever know.
Onimusha Way of the Sword? Man, Capcom finally did it. Onimusha Way of the Sword is the comeback we've been praying for, and it is a technical powerhouse that humbles almost everything else in the action genre. This isn't just a samurai game, it is a cinematic simulation of feudal Japan. What's absolutely squeezing the PS5 here is the flowing matter tech. Because the game is built on the newest iteration of the RE engine, the physics of Samanosuke's armor and the supernatural elemental effects are calculated in real time. When you use your lightning orb, the electricity isn't just a flat texture, it's a branching light simulation that actually illuminates every individual blade of grass and puddle around you. But the real next-gen flex? The seamless world transitions. You can walk from the muddy, rain-slicked outskirts of a village straight into a massive, burning castle interior without a single millisecond of loading. The technical fidelity of the demons, the Genma, is terrifying. You can see the individual scales, the pulsing veins, and the way their spirit energy distorts the air around them. It is a fast, visceral, and visually overwhelming masterpiece that proves Capcom is the king of the current generation. Phantom Blade Zero. If you want to see what happens when developers stop caring about safe designs and just go for broke, you have to look at Phantom Blade Zero. This game is a kung fu punk nightmare that is pushing the PS5's GPU to its absolute limit with its high-speed animation density. Usually in action games, the animations are simplified to keep the frame rate stable, but S-Game has managed to implement frame-perfect physics. Every sword clash, every parry, and every acrobatic flip is physically calculated. When your blade hits a wall, it sparks and leaves a persistent gouge. When you cut through an enemy's cloak, the fabric tears exactly where your sword passed through. Technically, the Dread atmosphere lighting is some of the best I've ever seen. The way the moonlight filters through the constant rain and fog of this dark fantasy world creates a depth of field that makes the screen look like a high-budget 4K film. It's a game that demands 60 FPS, and the PS5 is working overtime to deliver that, while maintaining a level of detail that is, frankly, borderline insane. It's dark, it's lightning fast, and it's a technical tour de force. Code Vein 2. Closing out our list is Code Vein 2, and man, Bandai Namco has taken the anime aesthetic to a level that feels like another generation entirely. They've moved away from the flat look of the first game and embraced a high-fidelity cel-shaded style that utilizes Unreal Engine 5's most advanced features. The reason this is pushing the PS5 is the particle and blood physics. In this world of revenants, blood is everything, and the way it's rendered here is stunning. It has weight, it has viscosity, and it interacts with the environment and the character's blood veils in real time. But the real technical achievement is the world scale. The Gale of the Mists is now a massive, interconnected open zone with verticality that rivals Elden Ring. The draw distance is incredible. You can stand on top of a ruined skyscraper and see the individual movements of enemies blocks away. The gift system, the magic in this game, produces lighting effects so intense that it feels like the PS5 is finally revealing its true potential. It's a stylish, difficult, and technically brilliant evolution that shows us that even stylized games can be graphics kings in 2026.
Defensive formation for guarding and evading.
Man, looking at these 15 games, it's impossible not to get hyped. We're living in a time where the line between game and reality is getting thinner every single day. We aren't just playing games anymore. We're stepping into fully realized, living, breathing digital universes. This is the another generation feel we've been waiting for. But I want to hear from you, bro. Which of these games do you think is the true next-gen king? Is your console ready for the heat GTA 6 is about to bring, or are you looking forward to the dark world of Phantom Blade Zero? Drop a comment below and let's talk about the future of gaming.